They don't get sent flying like they did the first time. They finally sat up in their chair. The conclusion of God Valley was absolutely epic. Pure cinema, I might say. This is One Piece chapter 1165, Oda Cooked, and I already know. Now, if you guys are unaware, the One Piece anime is going to start being seasonal, and this flashback, based off of the amount of chapters that we have, more likely than not, it will not get animated until 2027. And although that is going to be a long time, it's going to be well worth it. And I already know Toei is going to be in their bag when this fight happens, and honestly just the entire God Valley incident in general. They are going to be in their bag, and I am excited for it. It's probably going to be some of the best stuff we have ever seen them animate. So in the last chapter, we know that Xebec ended up falling victim to the Domi Reversi. Garp and Roger, they decided to stay back. They are the only two that were like, bet, we're going to put a stop to Xebec, because if not, he's going to destroy everyone. So the unlikely duo, they end up teaming up in order to fight him. And so this chapter, it starts off with Xebec still saying, hey, please kill me. And so Garp, he says, you hear that too, right? Which, at least to me, it confirms that we already know that Roger had it, and we could kind of speculate because Luffy has it, but Garp, he has the ability, or the voice of all things. Now, something that really stood out to me, which makes a lot of sense, especially because we're in the hockey era, especially with armament, and even, well, more so now, the mastery of conquerors coding. And what is really important about this is that we see Roger, he coded his blade in, I assume, conquerors hockey, just based off of his statement a little bit later in the chapter. And same with Xebec. And also, well, we saw the sky split, which is pretty impressive. I mean, granted, aren't really shocked anymore seeing the sky split, but at the same time, we also haven't seen it very often. But well, with Garp, Roger, and Xebec, the three strongest in the series, yeah, I think we probably could expect the sky to split. But I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty dope seeing the black blades here, because we don't ever really get to see it. I know they're not permanent black blades, but it's just dope because, well, that means that they're not necessarily the strongest swordsmen, but at least they're at the pinnacle of swordsmanship. Both of them are going crazy. I don't want to slander Roger here. I don't want to slander Garp. And well, shout out Garp, because he's just using nothing but his fist, nothing but different grappling techniques, and he is holding his own. And obviously it's a little bit of a struggle because, well, one-on-one Rocks would probably be an extreme diff fight for either one of these two. And so now that he's souped up, got the venom with the Domi Reversi, of course they're going to be struggling a little bit. But these two have aura, they really do, because they sent a message to both of their crews. Roger was like, hey, go ahead, sail out to sea, wait for me there. And then Garp, he says, go ahead, take all the injured, take the Marines, cast off immediately. And guess what? With blood dripping down because they got sent flying a little bit, they're a little bit battered, a little bit bruised. They said, I'll make it back for sure. That was aura, because guess what? As the chapter goes on, they don't get sent flying like they did the first time. They finally sat up in their chair. Seeing these two work together, I know that, Roger, he's like, hey, I came here to get Shaki, to get some treasure, and to get the fluff out. And on the flip side, Garp is like, well, I came here for Rocks, I came here for you. And so it's kind of crazy that we're getting this tag team, because they said, hey, let's, for this instance, let bygones be bygones. Let's have a truce. And so the two of them are going crazy. I'm talking about, using advanced conqueror slashes, punches, different grappling moves. And what I love about this is that the respect that they have for each other, because Roger and Garp, they know who Xebec is. They know that he isn't this type of person. And so they're talking about his form, talking about, how he's acting. They're like, this is different. And they're trying their best to defeat him without killing him, because I don't want to necessarily say they're friends, but they're respected rivals. And so, you know, seeing him like this, they don't want to see this man in this state. But it's also at the same time, it's kind of hard to fight without killing him, because if that's the case, well, he's already souped up, he's gonna kill them instead. But if you guys enjoy regular One Piece content like this, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. I'm putting out different One Piece content almost each and every day. The Roger pirates, they are gathering the treasure on the ship, getting ready to launch. All of a sudden, guess who shows up? Gloriosa. She's running next to Gabon like, hey, you mind if I go here? And it's not just her. All of the Rocks pirates are disbanding, so it's confirmed, and well, we already speculated this, but after Rocks' defeat, that hey, this is where everybody disbands. You have Big Mom and Kaido, they're going back and forth. They're like, hey, you know, because you stole my fruit, you owe a debt to me. And Kaido's like, I don't know you shit. He's like, nah, I owe you nothing. I'm gonna start my own crew where brutality it is the only law. And we obviously saw that with the Beast Pirates, Jack, Queen, King, with all the Topiropo, etc. Which I love this declaration, because that explains why whenever Big Mom went to Wano, why it was on site, because Big Mom's still a little bit ticked off at this, and Kaido's like, hey, you know, whenever you come to Wano, well, not Wano because that's in the future, but he's like, whenever you come and see me, I'll crush you when the time comes. Now, I know in the last chapter, a lot of people are saying that Zebek sent Whitebeard flying. Whitebeard looks perfectly fine, and someone is talking to him. And at first we're like, well, who the heck is this individual? It's someone whose name is Graham. And Graham, guess who he looks like? Well, a few chapters ago, there was a figure who we were like, huh, kind of looks like Marco's fighting here. We were a little bit confused. Why? Well, because based off of the age, Marco would only be like a few years old. So logically, did not make sense for it to be Marco. Apparently, this is probably more likely than not Marco's father, because they look like twins. They look identical. So this is how Whitebeard and Graham met. And of course, Marco's father, Graham, probably found someone, right? Had Marco, and then, well, Marco joined Whitebeard's crew. Maybe he had him on a ship. I'm not entirely sure what happened to him. Shout out Big Dragon. Shout out Rayleigh. Shout out Gabon. Because Dragon's on the ship. He is livid. Y'all already know this man is pissed off. You already know this man, Dragon, was like, you know, this ain't right. So he takes a gun. He takes it as commander. He's like, all right, I am the captain now, right? I'm going to say whatever I'm going to say. We're going to take these prisoners, everybody that hasn't escaped, the wounded, all that. We're taking them on the ship. And if you have anything to say, I'll execute you on the spot. Okay, Dragon, show him who's boss. Show him that, grab your nuts, my boy. All right, I'm going to listen to you because I don't want to get shot. And shout out Rayleigh and Gabon. They're like, hey, go ahead, take off. You know, we'll meet you guys there. Don't worry about us. They're headed back to where Roger and Zebek and all of them are fighting. Shout out them. This reminds me so much of Sanji and Zoro. This is exactly what they would do. I'm not entirely sure what their role is going to be, if they're just going to carry Roger because he's probably going to be extremely tired, or if they're going to also assist. If it was up to me, I think more likely than not, they're probably just there for Roger. Saturn is, I guess, back to normal. I'm not entirely sure if this is Emu Saturn or Saturn, but regardless, the statement is saying, hey, this island doesn't exist. And so you already know, if the world government and Emu wishes that it'll be, because the names of the people in the hunting competition was purged, how many people died was purged, the different whereabouts, the coordinates, any records regarding God Valley, completely purged, wiped off the face of the earth. Garp and Roger, they've been fighting for a minute. They are huffing and puffing. Nothing is working. One thing that really stood out to me is that Roger actually recruited him. He was like, hey, once this is all over, join my crew. And this is where Garp declined. I'm going to make an in-depth Garp video because I always wondered why he ended up staying with the Marines. I get it, wanting to change them from within, wanting to set that standard. But he's saying if he left, he wouldn't be able to protect the Marines, which is really interesting. Don't want to get into it here. Like I said, I'll get into it in a separate video. But another thing that really stood out to me is that Roger and Garp, it's confirmed they're using advanced conquerors. They're using conquerors coding in their attacks. And so they explain that essentially, well, if another party, in this example being Rocks, if he's using conquerors, right, to block the attacks when they're using it to, you know, attack, well, they're essentially just canceling each other out. So they need to push their conquerors to another level to bypass that and defeat him, which I think this is what Gabon was talking about, because we know with the Holy Knights, they seemed immortal, and same with the Gorosei. It's like, well, we're attacking them with conquerors coding. what's the next level to it? And the simple answer is just have stronger conqueror coding. So the two of them, they know that once they finally attack, it's going to put all of them out of commission. But if they don't, then it's all over. And so they're getting ready. They're charging up. Xebec, he's back up. And they want to put him out of his misery because, like I said, they respect each other and they can feel his frustration. The two of them charge up different named attacks. Roger with the Kagusushi Ace. And then there's Garp, who charged up with the Infinium Explosion. Great looking panel. Honestly, Garp's attack reminds me of Luffy's Red Hawk in a Gatling form. And then, well, you already know Roger was just a slash attack. But they are going crazy, and it looks like Rocks is defeated. Now, were they the people that killed him? I don't buy it. I need to see what's going to happen in the next chapter. But they talk about, hey, that this was Xebec's fall, and, you know, this is the confirmation that they were disbanded. But the world government, you know, they tried to cover stuff up. This would leave a massive echo on the era, and everyone talked about the legacy of the Rocks pirates. But yeah, that is, I would say, probably about 95% of God Valley. Obviously, want to see what's going to happen in the next chapter. Who's the individual that really took down Xebec? Obviously, it was Roger and Garp, but who delivered the finishing blow? I cannot wait to read that chapter. Unfortunately, One Piece is on a break. But I mean, Oda's been killing it. Chef Oda in the build. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is on the screen in the description below. And don't forget to unleash your potential.